so thrilled to have you on the pod today. I've just loved watching your business boom.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you today? What's going on? You have this amazing outfit on. What did you wear to the pod today?
I'm doing well. I'm wearing a Dries coat and Still Here jeans, Kate kind of translucent flats that I love because they're so easy to throw on with everything.
Very cool. I haven't seen those.
Thank you. Yeah, they had flats like this, but I really liked the heel. It's like a nice.
It's like a mesh over the ankle, not the ankle of your foot, the arch of your foot.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's
yeah,
a little heel.
They're just easy. Yeah. And then Jill Sander earrings.
Gorge.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to be back here a year later.
I know. It's crazy.
Time has flown.
Yeah.
For those of you listening who did not know, I got one of my favorite bridal looks from LOHO Bride. It was this incredible Richard Quinn that I got kind of sight unseen.
Yeah.
I tried on the original of it that was in different fabric and was able to work really closely with you on that and bringing that to life. And from the moment I met you, I was just such a deep admirer of your business.
Oh,
I think
thank you.
As a fashion lover who went through the wedding process, there weren't a lot of places that really spoke to me in that sense. Being able to walk into a place that had a lot of designers that I loved or would cater to kind of those more detailed touches. This really, I feel was a place where I got a lot of inspiration. So,
thank you.
I'm so happy to finally have you on the podcast today to talk about how you grew this business and some things going on in the bridal world.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited. And it really never gets old to be able to have brides say to you, I was finally seen, through your curation or through the experience that you gave me. And that's honestly what keeps us running. It's just that feeling.
So I'd love to hear from you what the starting point was. I know that, you were obviously a bride yourself, but what was this moment for you of being okay, there's a need for this in LA. There's a void in the market. I'm not really feeling spoken to. What was that kind of origin story for LOHO?
Yeah, so it really started when I was attending a ton of weddings when I was younger. It started, I think I was 24, and a lot of the really cool fashion brides were whoa, this was not what I had hoped for. I couldn't find these really interesting names because Pinterest was just coming out and social media was just coming out, and couldn't get their hands on certain designers. And so it just kind of, it's just one of those weird moments. I never thought I would own a bridal shop, but it just got my curiosity going. And it just, because I wasn't married at the time, it made me wonder, where would someone myself go? And so just kind of a low risk way to see if I was crazy or not, we did a pop-up. And all these women showed up. It was a one-day pop-up, and they were getting naked behind room dividers. It was so not thought about because I'd never been to a bridal shop. So I kind of just did it and just was let's just learn through this whole madness. And it's when you see the brides come in, just kind of desperate to be seen and to be represented. That's when it clicked. I was okay, I have to do this. I have to open this shop. There were a lot of really cool Australian designers that no one was bringing in yet. It just felt like I was at the brink of something exciting. And it was, I think, frankly, an industry that was ready to get a little disrupted. So not only myself, I think a lot of designers, I think other stores since have really noticed that brides needed more option. And that was my mission from the get-go. And to give a genuine experience too, that actually I always say to my team and to people in general, that's number one is the experience. The pretty things are, just the cherry on top.
I'm curious if you think that the industry is still ripe for innovation.
Yeah, I do. I think it's just a slower paced industry than regular fashion. I think things just take more time to reinvent. Also, there is still something so precious about it being in person. While there has been a lot of disruption online, and I think that's great, there's still something that I think brides want to experience in person, and they want to feel taken care of and understood and listened to. And that's just something that online can't totally replace. But yeah, I think there's always room for disruption. I think if we just think that we have it all figured out, then we'd all be retired by now,
It's interesting. I completely resonate with what you're saying about, brides just were in this room getting naked behind the dividers. In my experience, there was one vintage store or vintage kind of pop up in LA that's gotten really popular over the last like few years. And I did end up getting one of my bridal pieces from there, but they had done like a bridal week of sorts in their showroom. And I can describe it as feral.
Yeah.
I can only describe it as feral.
Yeah.
Like, we were in little tiny blow up tents in this person's living room, and everyone was like trying on everything they could get their hands on, and they were there with their mom and their sister. And it's just, I completely agree that I think, one, there's the appetite for more, but also you are working with a consumer who's in a very like fragile state and needs kind of a lot of guidance and is really looking for that personal touch. Like they don't just want to buy, this isn't a dress that you just buy online. A wedding dress is not something that you're like clicking checkout on online. Everybody wants to have that moment where they put the dress on and they're like, oh, this is it.
Yeah, and they want to feel something, you know, and I think that a really great stylist can listen and be a therapist and even help manage maybe the different dynamics that are going on in the room with other people that you brought there. I mean, stylists are amazing. Bridal stylists, I mean, I think all stylists are amazing, but I think bridal stylists have like another layer that they have to kind of cut through and be there for the bride. And it's really not about them in that moment. It's really about the bride. And I always tell our staff, like, you can't take that hour back. Like, you have to be able to give them 100 because they deserve that and they're going to remember that forever.
Once in a lifetime fitting.
Yeah. It's something that every time I enter a fitting, I feel that honor. And I also, something I really believe in is even if that bride ended up not being a LOHO bride, but you gave them the experience of a lifetime, they're going to bring their friend that is maybe more of our aesthetic, because we are a specific aesthetic. It's not going to land with everybody, but they're going to remember the experience, and that's the most important thing.
Was there a specific bride in your early days or kind of moment or event where you felt it? You were like, everything, this has changed everything for me.
One of my first big brides was, and I was in San Francisco at the time, so it was really editors. And Angela Tafoya, who was an editor of the Refining 29 at the time, she was my first big bride. And it really, I remember going home and getting teary-eyed because I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's it, like in San Francisco, like to get her as a bride, like that is, and she was in Houghton, which was a brand that really inspired me that there were going to be more of this type of aesthetic coming out. It was like a very cool girl brand.
She's an OG.
Yeah, she's the OG. And so I remember seeing her at market, and then that's the designer that Angela ended up picking. And so it just, the dots started to connect, and I'm like, okay, I'm onto something. Cause I was in a fitting room, or my whole store was like probably the size of this room. It was me, 2 racks, and I had someone helping me on the weekend from time to time, but it was really me. So I had to believe in it because I had everything on the line to make it work.
What year was this?
This was 2000. We're turning 11 this year. So What is that? Like 2012?
Yeah.
Something around there. Is that right? So yeah, it's just been like a slow progression since then. You know, like we opened the LA store, and then I really fell in love with the LA Bride, and I didn't have to change my curation down here, which I think was really important, and that's why we decided to really double down and just become a destination here.
So when I walked in earlier today, we were talking about this idea of a bridal boom, and I feel like we've been in one in the last few years, and maybe my idea of a bridal boom is that I'm just seeing more designers lean into bridal.
Yeah.
Right? Like Cult Gaia just came out with a bridal collection. I'm seeing more and more people want to partake in the bridal industry. But when I had brought that up to you earlier, you were like, you know, people in the bridal industry would not say we're in a bridal boom. Yeah. People would say maybe post-COVID we had this major moment. How do you feel about that now? Do you feel like it's decreasing? What's your take right now on the bridal market?
Like kind of what I was saying earlier, I think it's just kind of leveled to what it was before, but it was such an intense boom after COVID. I mean, because all of those weddings essentially got
pushed back.
Pushed back. And then it was like double, triple the amount of weddings that would have happened that year happened. And so I think everyone was just trying to kind of I don't know, hold on for dear life because it was so extreme. So that's leveled out. So that's, I think my definition of the wedding boom was like the post-COVID, where there was just so much business and so many weddings happening and vendors were charging a lot more. And it was just a crazy time to be getting married.
Okay, I'll rephrase the question. Do you think that fashion is in a bridal boom?
Yeah, I think everyone wants a piece of it, for sure. I think that they see how lucrative it is. I think that they understand that people are willing to spend more money on an item. But it's funny, one of our designers, Cortana, she has always had ready to wear and then broke into bridal. And she said, I'm not changing the prices just because it's in champagne or ivory. But I don't think a lot of people see it that way. I think that they're seeing it as, oh, if I just make this in white and ivory, I can just sell it and say that it's bridal. And so I get it. There's like an opportunity there.
I see that with a lot. I mean, I think of brands like Victoria Beckham, who doesn't have a bridal collection, but I see a lot of her pieces being made in this like beautiful ivory white. And I'm like, that... Personally, I think every major designer right now should have at least one or two bridal pieces in their collection, whether they're marketing it as bridal or not.
Yeah.
I just see so much opportunity and so many former brides, current brides that were kind of in my position that were looking for pieces from brands that they love that would work for their wedding weekend.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to just buy from, the 10 biggest bridal brands out there. They wanted something that felt a little bit more true to their personal style.
Yeah.
Now when I look at certain designers, I'm like, you would do so well with a bridal collection.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
Well, and I think it's also like, I know Christopher Esber just got into bridal as well, and it's like
so smart.
Yeah, like beautiful pieces that people go to for resort wear or just in their normal life, and it's like, of course, that mental connection to that brand would want to cross over into bridal. So I think it's great. I mean, I think we need more options, and there's a lot more events now that people consider, and there's a lot of things to fill in, to be honest. I mean,
totally.
Think about how many looks you wore, you know, and like that was like different vibes, different places, different energies. And so I think having brands show, this kind of new era of bridal is amazing.
I wonder for you how that's impacting your business, because I'm sure 11 years ago when you first started, a bride was coming in looking for just their wedding dress. Are they coming in now with a whole different kind of set of requirements or things they're looking for? And how has that changed the way that you're buying for LOHO? It's
changed a lot. It's crazy. I didn't know if it was just a wedding boom thing for a while, but it's kind of just stuck. And so, yeah, you're right. 10 years ago, it was very rare that a bride was coming in looking to spend thousands of dollars. I think they'd be like, oh, I'm just going to get like a whatever after party look. And now I think with just how things are featured and social media and just what now they've seen become a norm, it is so, common now to be wearing numerous different things. I would say at least 3 to 5 looks for the weekend is what I'm hearing. So yeah, we definitely, look into brands that we believe. I do have to be careful because obviously if it's all over the internet, it's a little more difficult. I still want to be made to order. That's something that I feel really passionately about. And if you can just get it online easily, then what's the point of coming here? So, brands like Line, I love having because they're really special side looks, and it's just something where you can only get it at a store for the most part at this point.
What's your best piece of advice for somebody who is walking in the door and maybe hasn't prepped for the made to order process? Like, do they need to have a vision ahead of time? I feel like that's one thing that I wasn't mentally prepared for at the time, and people ask my advice now. It's like, what do you have to think about if you're going into doing a custom dress?
Custom or just made to order in general?
Let's start with made to order.
Made to order. So for made to order, it really is a disservice to come in and not have looked at anything or have any type of inspiration. It's a bit of a pet peeve when someone comes in and they say, I don't know anything. I don't have a venue. I don't know what the vibe is. And expect me as an expert to just understand them immediately and their style. I mean, I think our team is very good at reading and, trying to piece that together, but it's so nice when the bride fills out the questionnaire and really gives us something to work with. Because then I now have to spend the next 15 to 20 minutes to decode the aesthetic and the style. And, it really isn't, it just isn't like a productive meeting. When a bride comes and is prepared, and I mean, I love a mood board, you know, showing a Pinterest board, anything of that nature, or this bride's wedding really inspired me. Like, I can do so much more with that. So I think before coming in, really do a little homework. Even if it's that, you know, I'm just curious about this. I always say dress shopping is like killing the curiosity of a bunch of different, you know, versions of you as a bride. And so I just want to know those things because it can really help me think of what I can put in front of you. Or even something that I don't have right now that I know is coming, or a trunk show that's coming to town. There's all these things that can get unlocked if you come with that work done already. It just helps everybody.
And what about for custom?
For custom, that's a different game. So I think right now I'm mostly doing custom where we're customizing on top of an existing style because I think it's a lot easier to digest.
I think that's the way to go 100%.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
building a dress from a ground zero, like literally coming up with the entire shape, unless you have an exact reference of something you want to copy.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
It's really, really hard. And I think it creates some anxiety sometimes because the bride wants to know like that it's going to all work out.
Yeah.
And you're basically going through a big period of time figuring that out. Or I think it's working with, like we did a pop-up with like One Of in New York, who I know you worked with too, right?
Love Patricia's coming on the
Yeah.
podcast. So
Yes.
if you guys are interested in hearing more about One Of, that will be out soon. I'm obsessed with her. And I also, my favorite part of the space that we're in right now is your One Of custom mini.
Yes, I know.
I think that's smart.
I love that you got that because I feel like only fashion girls
I died
understood
for
what
it.
the muslins were and stuff.
So
But
really,
yeah.
before you continue on, I want to explain what it is. So in the VIP area of LOHO, there is I'm staring at it right now, there's basically a wall of muslins from One Of, and then what would you call like fabrics that can go on top of the muslins?
Yeah, it's like different beading and
so like
things
I'm
like
looking
that.
at like a feather one, I'm looking at like a lace one, a beaded one, and if you're someone who wants to make your own bridal mini, you can customize it.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah, and that's like, but even then that's kind of like demi bespoke, right? Because
even then it's like
the bodice exists and yeah. But I mean, I got the privilege of sitting into a few fully custom with her, and it's a true craft. And so that's something where we would rather more point someone in the right direction, or like I said, customize on top of something existing, because what she does is magic. And just like the references that she has to vintage silhouettes and the dead stock that she uses, that's your like a whole other business. So we really want to like support brides in getting into the right hands, where we're maybe supporting from the side or we're doing more demi.
Do you know who I think really did a good job in fashion of doing bridal? And I think maybe you and I have talked about this before. Christopher John Rogers.
Yes.
I think did an incredible job of having a standard ready-to-wear business, not having to create an entire new side custom bespoke world of bridal, but taking his most iconic pieces and turning them white.
Yeah.
Like he has the iconic strawberry dress, which really I feel like launched the brand. And I then in the following year saw a few brides wear it all in white. And I thought that was such a great way to bring in a new customer to Christopher John Rogers, but then also be able to expand your offering in a way that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
So
I would
smart.
love for him to do a bridal collection.
Christopher, if you're listening, please come out with bridal. I think
Please.
you and I have talked about that for over a year.
I'm interested.
I think the first time I met you, we talked about it.
Yeah. I mean, I have a crazy discovery list where I like track dream people or,
who's
things
on
like
it?
I mean, Simone Rocha is definitely one that I harass regularly.
It needs to happen.
Yeah.
And you guys should have seen the body language I just had just now.
Yeah.
It needs, like, it was a visceral response.
I have her veil out there. I have her shoes out there. Like I'm manifesting that she will be on my racks. I'm no shame. When I was in London, I'll like go into the store and I'll drop my card and say, hey, if she ever gets into bridal, let me know. The store manager's like, okay. Sometimes it takes like years. Like I've had some people come around that I reached out to like years ago and they're like, okay, we're finally doing it, so, or like we finally were a fit for them because obviously when I first started, no one knew who I was. And so it was like, hey, like I'm this new, store, like take a chance on me. And so yeah, it's just always good to like manifest like designers that you believe that you can bring a voice to.
I love that you're like physically going and leaving your card.
Yeah.
I think that's like that's how you run a business.
Yeah.
That's how you get in front of people. Truly.
Yeah. Who knows if it ever got passed, but you got to try.
You got to try. When brides are coming in now, what do you think is driving the biggest bridal trends? Is it celebrity weddings? Is it ready-to-wear runway shows that you're seeing? Is it trends in fashion? What has been the biggest indicator where you're seeing multiple brides come in the door and ask for this one thing?
If you're talking about a more fashion-forward bride, like a lot of ours are, I think Vogue weddings definitely play a part. Yeah, celebrity weddings. There's just endless content though, and so I think having brides, once they make a decision, try to chill out on that. I don't think anyone really just stops following everybody, but I think just like relaxing on it a little bit and maybe taking a breather, because it's constant.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for these brides. You can just see them, their wheels turning,
Overstimulation to the max.
Well, and then the bridal markets are releasing collections that won't be available for those brides,
right,
because it's not for their season.
Yeah, it's a full year in advance.
Yeah,
yep.
So it's tough. I genuinely feel bad for brides because I could see how much it's like tearing them down, like, so you just got to own it and know that honestly too, there's a lot of beautiful dresses that you could wear, but you chose this one, and that's that. I know this might sound silly, but if you are planning to change, know that you can also get different things out. So I was so happy that all my looks were so different, because I feel like I got to fulfill a different version of myself as a bride in those different moments. And so I felt very fulfilled, and I still look back and love all the different things. And I feel like just watching your wedding and the looks that you served, like I felt the same way. It's like she got to be vintage, she got to be sparkly lace, like, and that's fun. So if that is something, maybe it will take the pressure off a little bit.
What are some trends you're seeing right now? Speaking of lace and capes and all the things, like what are some of the biggest bridal trends that you're seeing this summer?
I think a lot of people we're still seeing so much basque and drop waist, because again, I think in bridal they are slower trends. So, but what's exciting about this season is I feel like people are really wanting to reinvent them. And so just even, I love like the exaggerated hip trend that's going on right now. But it's still drop waist. And I do see capes coming back a little bit, but more like attachable, more feminine, not like over the shoulder.
Yeah.
A lot of removable stuff still, but again, just reinventing it, because I think there's only so many trends that can go down in bridal before they start repeating. What does feel fresh to me now though is like Danielle doing like really interesting fabrications, like cutouts, like textures. That's where I think most people could look at that and say that is so original to her and what she brought this season. I love all the hand painted stuff that she's doing. Just like unique fabrications, I think is what our brides are getting really excited about. And then, like I said, if it is, a style that we're seeing a lot of the drop waist, but like what's that twist on it is what I'm looking for at least.
Danielle Frankel's an enigma to me.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm so impressed with what she built, truly.
Yeah.
Because it's high fashion bridal.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost sometimes I'm like, wait, can you make that in a ready-to-wear version?
Yeah.
Can you make that in a different color?
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure to keep topping the previous season, and then it'll get released. So, and this latest collection was truly mind-blowing.
What about accessories?
The neck scarf is still, this is where I'm talking about, where the trends just keep
I can't believe it's
around.
Still going. Nikki Campbell, who's, if you follow Nikki Campbell, he's a red carpet commentator. And it's so funny. He will like see people come on the red carpet with a neck scarf. And every time he's like, could we have just paused for a second and decided if you really needed the neck scarf?
Yeah.
Did we need it?
Yeah.
I do think, however, for bridal, I think it has more of its place than I think it has on a red carpet.
Yeah.
There's such a romance to it. And I
think
there is. Seeing a bride walk down the aisle with the scarf or anything kind of blowing in the wind, I think is really beautiful. But yes, I think we're almost at its, I think
it's hard because it is such a game changer. I have brides that have said yes because the neck scarf went on. So I totally understand. I think that I would just want maybe people to get a little creative. Like I think it'd be so cool to like embroider it with something or do some type of interesting, detailing on it. Just something that maybe like makes us think like, oh, she really thought about how to like judge the neck scarf trend right now. So that, and then I just think the veil is being thought of more than like more and more. I feel like the veil is really being thought of as like the full picture and just interesting detailing. Again, I can't, I have to talk about Danielle Frankel's like the painted veil, like things like that where it's like, oh, I actually should invest in this. Like it really is a point of interest, and there's something about it that I think just really makes the whole look and makes like women feel like a bride. And so I think just getting creative with that though. So I'd say that, I mean, again, a lot of a lot of removable skirts and capes, and it's kind of the same thing, but just what's the twist on it?
I also think that's more of like an affordable way to do it. If you're buying one piece that can serve for both moments, I think that's a great way for brides who don't want to be buying a ton of different dresses. Like finding one where you can either like take the skirt out or take a cape off to serve as your after party moment is so fun. Yeah.
But I mean, now having been in this for over 10 years, I've seen the cycles. Yeah. And so, it's hard sometimes to always feel like you can peg new trends every year because it, like you've seen it before and you're like, oh, okay, they're back now. Or like when the big sleeves were in, like that lasted like 3 years.
Yep.
So it doesn't feel as like on the spot trend as like what you feel with like fashion week and stuff. Yeah.
Obviously with this new space that we're in now, you're really targeting that fashion lover, someone who wants to work maybe one-on-one with a designer. And I know that you are really passionate about finding and supporting new designers in the space. What does that look like for you? How are you finding them? And is there one that you think everybody should be paying attention to right now?
I would say my rising stars right now would be Wed Studio. They're a really cool duo out of London. And then Varka. She's based out of Chicago. I think they're really cool, have like an edge to them. Really flattering silhouettes. And it's kind of one of those feelings where you feel like they're just getting started. They're shaking things up during markets. It's like all the things that you kind of look for. Something that's so important to me is I want people to come in and really see the difference in designer on the rack. So if I already feel like we are representing a certain aesthetic, I'm not going to duplicate it. And I think that's something that people have admired about our curation. Sometimes you go into bridal shops and I've just had other brides tell me, oh, there was just a lot of the same. And that's fine, to each their own. For me, it's so important that you see the difference of voice and originality. And that's basically what I'm looking for. It's just do I feel something different? Have I not seen something like this? And what are they looking to say? I started with Danielle 7 years ago. Vivienne Westwood really has only been doing made to order for the last like 5-6 years.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
they've probably made more on that dress than they have in the entire history of Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's truly an iconic dress.
Yep.
And it's clearly not going anywhere. Demi Lovato just wore it.
I love the brand. I think the dress is spectacular. I am still shocked to my core.
I know.
Every time I see it.
Hey, it feels good. I think you tried it on, right? I mean, there's like a feeling to it for sure.
My mother was like, "Can I dye this purple and wear it for your wedding?" I was like, it's a bit too recognizable, Mom. They do sell it in colors now. It's
always
genius.
On the red carpet every year in color.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I was like, Mom, it's a little too recognizable for you to wear, but
Yeah. So I mean, like I'm starting with them there, right? Like I'm not picking people up really when they've already blown up. Yeah. And so that process is so rewarding, and it's so cool to see, to even have them say things like, oh, the feedback you gave me was so useful and that really helped fuel this. And so I love it. I just love being a part of the whole process, from between the bride, the designer, all of that.
So for brides who are listening, can you share a little bit about the space that we're in right now and what that offering looks like? Yeah, it's super unique. You don't find it anywhere else, that's for sure.
Yeah. We really wanted, I think some brides love being around other brides, and there's like a cool energy to that. But I also find this experience to be extremely personal. People can be having body things come up, and you know, again, there's family dynamics, like so many feelings come up about a lot of different things. And so we wanted people to be able to book, you know, a very private experience. Also, we're in Los Angeles, so that comes in handy. But it's not just for famous people or anything like that. It's truly, you know, if someone wants to pay for the fitting fee and they want to be with me and they want to really kind of take it further than just what's on the rack, I love that. I love that exploration. And I love to introduce them to things that maybe just wouldn't come to mind by just visiting here. So it's kind of hard to describe, but it's so much just like taking it another step further, really wanting extra guidance from someone that's really in the thick of it and is constantly looking at all this stuff. And yeah, so if it ends up being a match to where I can introduce them to a designer or bring in a special request, or like we talked about earlier, going demi bespoke, that's what I wanted to be able to give access to. I don't take a lot of brides every week, but I really take them with care, and you know, it's fun because somebody is going to get something different from it, depending on who they are and what they're looking for and what the fashion vibe is really.
On that note, what's your biggest piece of advice for brides who are walking in the door and don't know where to start?
I would say, again, what I said earlier, which is like really do your homework a little bit. It will get you so much further in the fitting. And then I know we also said this too, but like staying open. I would say if you can, come with not a lot of people, at least the first time.
Cosign.
Yes.
Big cosign.
Yeah. I see that really go wrong. And what's nice about maybe coming back is saying, hey, I've already favorited these dresses. They're ones that I love. So it kind of sets the tone with the group of like, okay, she's already, you know, designated these as favorites. Like, why don't we chill a little bit and see what her response is first? A lot of barking. It still shocks me to this day after a decade of doing this work. How people just can't be happy for people, or they can't just like let them have their own opinion first. So I would be mindful of that. I would not bring too many people to your first fitting, especially because you're learning in the beginning. So be mindful of that.
100%.
Yeah.
Have you had any like crazy stories of like people who have come in, or like, you know, maybe their dress hasn't made it in time? Like, what are some like things that have happened that you're like, don't do this, guys?
I think I was the most shocked by someone bringing, and this has happened numerous times, but this particular incident was a wine cooler, and they were in a limo all day, so they were already completely trashed. Came in, photographer comes out, they're taking pictures, they're drinking more from the cooler. And this is my last appointment, so I'm like real spent. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then it turned into like a boudoir shoot. So I finally had to like take myself out of the equation. I'm pretty sure they were blacked out at that point. And so I'm like, hey, our time is up. We're going to have to wrap this up. I have to go home. So the fact that people see it as like almost a bachelorette is, I think that's what's crazy, because I'm like, we're taking our job so seriously right now in giving you this time and really wanting you to find something. But some people view it that way.
Also, guys, no colored liquids around the dress.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The wine?
The wine, yeah. So it was like,
I'm gonna say no.
If you see somebody with a wine cooler,
Kick
do
them
not
out.
let them in.
Kick them out.
Now if I see the cooler, I'm like, oh God.
Who knew?
I know.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my
today.
gosh,
This was
thank
really
you.
Fun.
This was
I loved
super fun.
Hearing all about this, and thank you so much again for helping me find such an incredible moment.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Again, I'm such a big fan and love everything you do, so I can't wait to see more from you in the future.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Liv. I appreciate it.